Welcome to this tutorial on PanZoom. This is a tool used to move the camera around, and it is often used to shift the user's perspective so that they're focusing on a particular area of the video or the captured footage to draw the user's attention to a particular part of the video that you've captured. So we're going to look into this using an example. Firstly, the PanZoom tool is found down on the bottom left here. Right here, add a new camera PanZoom, and all PanZooms sit at this top bar, which is currently empty, but you'll see that we'll fill it in a moment. So let's just have a look at our footage, and we will zoom in on New Zealand. Why not? What a good idea. So we'll create a PanZoom, so I click on the tool, and it tells me, hey, look, I can highlight it here. It's just a hint saying, hey, drop it in there, and I shall just drop it right here. Okay, and you can see it comes up with a purple segment and the context user interface. Let's take a bit of a look at that. So the context user interface, context meaning here's a little UI that is relevant just to the PanZoom tool. You'll see it's got something that looks like a yellow ramp and a little blue bar here with a point at the top. Now there are 4 points, one at each of the positions that I can also drag. And these represent, as you may be able to see over here, they also represent 4 points in time along the PanZoom, and these are called keyframes. So the first two dictate what happens to the camera as it zooms in. So it starts at the first point and zooms into this point. Then it holds for a period of time, and in this case it doesn't move or change its zoom, and then it zooms out again. So if you wanted to change the way that a PanZoom worked, it's actually really simple. Let's say if we move to the first point and notice where the playhead position is here. It's just around about 1 second in. And if I play this, you'll see it zooms in, holds, and then zooms out. So let's say I want to change that, which I do. I would make sure that my second point is selected. And if you see these green arrows here, they simply mean this is the center of your scene or your video. And as you can see, the PanZoom is shifted and it's zoomed into a little point on the right. Let's zoom into Auckland. I live in Wellington, but we'll zoom into Auckland. No, we'll zoom into Wellington because that's far better. There we go. So I've just clicked and I'm dragging the scene. You can see I can just drag this thing around and I can position it just wherever I want. And what I see in my view is now what the user's going to see. So there's no crop box or rectangle or anything. You just drag the view where you want it. And because it's a symmetric PanZoom, changing the second point will also have changed the third. Symmetric means that the left-hand side is the same as the right-hand side and vice versa. So let's take a look. We'll move the playhead back and let's play it again and see what happens. So now you can see it zooms in Wellington. But it's not far enough. So let's do that again. We'll move to the second point. I'm going to reposition it just a little over here, a little bit, and I'm going to zoom in more by changing the slider on the right hand side. Now this is pretty grainy. You know, it's just a little piece of test footage, but there we go. Great. So let's try again. We'll move the playhead out here. Play. There we go, zooms in, holds, and comes out. Now just as a test, just for playing around, I'll show you what non-symmetric does. So, we'll turn symmetric off. Now when I modify either of these points, number 2 or number 3, it doesn't modify the other side. It just modifies each point independently. So if I were to do this, just pull the zoom out a little, and then let's also focus on Auckland, because we mentioned that earlier. Now watch what happens. You see the ramp is very different. It basically says, hey, you start at 0, you zoom right in, and then I come out a bit, and then I zoom back to my original position. Let's have a look at what that looks like. Play. Zooms in, Now the camera pans and comes out, then zooms out again. So it's pretty easy to use. And you know, if you're not happy with the duration, you can change the whole thing, like just dragging the segment. Uh, you can also change how quickly things zoom in or zoom out right on the context editor. So if you want to hold for longer, I can just drag it like this. So now sorry, not hold, it'll zoom in over 2.5 seconds. Then it'll move quickly and zoom out. So yeah, have a play. That's pan and zoom. Really simple.